Hello, dear friends. Today we're starting our series of explanation of the method I came up with and I mentioned in previous lecture. And this is a second lecture of ours. And we would like to elaborate on some points we brought up in the first lecture. And today I have with us Janet Ramos. She's our student and intern who completed the study and now starting practicing and already practicing for a year. And she's here to guide me through questions might be interesting to review for you. And then you might have better understanding of what our views and what our method is like. So please, Janet, go ahead.
Thank you for the invitation. In the class, excuse me, you talked a lot about the concept of totality. Could you please elaborate on that? It was very, very interesting.
All right, thank you very much for your question. Totality is a kind of concept which is a little bit alien for modern world. We are taught to think in scientific manner, and science is decompartmentalizing our system, and that what we think is right to think, about part of the body or part of the expression of the body. For example, we divide physical and emotional and psychological and spiritual parts of ours. Our method is unique in a way that we are looking at the being and a human being as a one total being, which has everything working at once, and we're able to grasp that mode of work and not just have a concept, but we have also a tool how to do it. And totality, it means that totality of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual parts of our being. So we don't separate them. We don't tell you, oh, you know what, you need a consultation of this and this specialist. We are the specialists which are taking for consideration totality of human being with all expressions human being has. Because we are designed that way, that we are total. We are not parts. We are not designed to be leg or head or, arm or some inner organ. So that's what we mean to have our view as a human being as a totality. Would it be
Okay.
correct for you and enough to understand, or you would like to guide me further with questions, please?
So how does this tie in, tie into the language of the body? What is the language of the body, and how does that tie into your practice?
Thank you, Janet, very much. This is a very important question because totality, as I mentioned, that how do we actually judge totality? It's easy to say totality. Yes, we're total, but how do you judge about totality? And actually, it's very easy because our being is designed the way that we have, besides the symptoms which we usually consider as a navigator of our deviation from health, when we have some unusual symptoms, then we think that something is wrong with us. But before symptoms even come, we have our sensations. And sensations is the key of our tool of assessing of our totality, how our totality is like. And totality is working in harmony or we are disharmonized. And sensations, what I mean, that it would be, for example, if you feel anxious, it will be a sensation. If you feel a physical sensation like burning in your stomach or poking in your eye or twitching your ear or popping in your ear. It's all sensations of your body, and this is a language of the body, which body is equipped with. And basically, this language is actually bridging our physical being to this spiritual quantum being, which is not like a separate layer. It's intertwined with our system, with the physical body. We're not like a sliced cake, which everything is separated. We are like intertwined matrix of everything together. And these sensations, they are basically very important tool to use. I hope that was a little.
Okay, that's actually very, very interesting. Um,
Thank
to
you.
to explain, like, I've never thought of the body having a language before.
You see?
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I'm
So
very
what
happy to
is
bring it up. Okay.
um, what is something that is essential to understand? I mean, this concept is very different from what we're used to. So what is something that is essential to understand, but people often find challenging to grasp?
What I wanted to mention, and we kind of touched it before, but I will elaborate a tiny bit more about it. The main problem people have that they consider are themselves as a physical being, and medical science, which is giving us this information, is actually preoccupied only with the physical being. Sometimes psychological as well. Like psychology is more and more developing into additional knowledge about our health. But um, not much is told about the possession of our of that we are as human beings. We're possessing the energetic dimension to us. And that is never mentioned because nobody really knows what to do with that. And this is the energetic dimension. This what we called, and that's what I call in our method, that it's quantum essence of human being. And imagine that physics itself as a field of knowledge, classical physics still doesn't acknowledge quantum physics as a part of physics. So it's kind of borderline of knowledge of our days. And now we are bringing it into the medical field, not in exactly medical field, but I mean for the consideration of human being as a biological being with this essence. And this is kind of mind blowing. And how can we come to this point, and how can we investigate it, and how can we study it? But as I mentioned, answering your previous question, that exactly the language of the body. This is the bridge of the between physical and quantum essence. That would be sensation. So we have the tool, we can assess it, and we can work with that. And this method has been developed 300 years ago, and it's proven to be working. All right.
Okay, how does this connect with the idea of a common denominator?
Right. This is that's what I was thinking for a long, long time because I didn't understand how to actually explain to public what is actually pure like with like. Because we were talking about finding the tool. Now we are going into finding the tool, how to actually correct and harmonize, disharmonize processes of totality of the human being. When we are ill or unwell, that it's happening disharmony in our system. And when disharmony happens, the question is, where is it happening? And what can be and how it can be harmonized. And the answer is that actually we need to understand that we are not alone in this universe, first of all, and the whole universal design is done in a way that we have that quantum essence. Everything what exists in our like surrounding in material world, which we are observing around us, everything has this quantum essence to it. And that quantum essence, as I mentioned, this is quantum energetic dimension for our being. And also, it's the uh, the same quantum essence we have in plants, in minerals, in all the surrounding of us. And, meteorites, they have quantum essence as well. And that is the perfect opportunity to view ourselves as a part of whole, and we need to approach our health from common denominator, because we are going to use quantum essences of surrounding us material things as a tool to cure ourselves. Cure in a way that we are restoring, harmonizing our self-regulatory processes.
Okay.
I will leave it at that because it's much more to say, but I'll try my best to be shorter as possible.
Okay. You made reference to the phrase of like cures like.
Right.
Could you please explain that? What is like cures like?
And that is exactly what I mentioned a minute before, that this common denominator of quantum essence of everything around us, if you will, I view it as addition to theory of everything. Remember Stephen Hawking, who was working on theory of everything, and his challenge was to merge, and this is still a challenge of physicists, to merge these physical world physical laws of physics with quantum physics laws. They are not mergeable, and this is very difficult to bring it together. Some people successfully doing it, like Leonard Susskind, who is a developer of string theory, and I hope people heard about his name, and he's a wonderful person from Stanford University. And he's, by the way, giving lectures online, and you can find his YouTube channel. I highly recommend to do so in order to understand that a little bit better. But we are applying it to human being. And like with like, it means that we derive from the substances around us, for example, from plant or from mineral or from part of the insects, even like from any being or any existence on planet Earth, and we derive the essence, the quantum essence, dynamized essence from this substance, and we apply it to quantum essence of ours, because this essence is needed to be addressed in an equal manner. So you need to come up with a tool which is affecting this particular this particular I don't want to say layer, but this particular part of our totality. And this part of quantum essence, I need to note that this part of quantum essence is the regulatory main avenue in order to harmonize our totality. You cannot do it through physical body. And this might be very new for people, but it's that what it is. We will talk about that further in our further lectures. We have not much left time because I wanted to make this video about under 15 minutes. Now it's already a bit more. So if we can, like, what other questions you might have, like if you just list them and we'll use one of them, which might just finish it off at this point, because I think we touched a lot of issues here.
Okay, things that are important for me as a student, right, when I was trying to learn was the understanding of what is the nature of health and how does normal physiology fit into this versus the regular physiology that is taught in the schools nowadays?
Right.
Um,
Thank you.
and why is it so important to understand health, healing, and disease when moving people from dis-ease to health?
Right. So the normal physiology is a science in it's a biological science which I studied quite intensely, and this science is considering the normal processes, studying normal processes of the system, not pathological, but normal. And norm would be something uh, which is um, which is harmonized. When you feel happy, energized, and ready for any challenge in your life, you're healthy. But try to find anybody living on planet Earth who is carrying those qualities. Like, not easy, I can tell you. Like, I'm seeing so many clients throughout the years. I didn't see many people like that. But what can I say? That we are bringing people to this point, and we are bringing them to this ability to cope, not cope, but cope with pleasure with life, and be ready for challenges life might bring. And you mentioned, I believe that you mentioned about the normal physiology. So normal physiology
Yeah.
is basically, it's a kind of, it's studying the normal processes and the matrix, not quantum matrix, but matrix of uh, physical harmony. It's matrix of self-regulatory, immune, endocrine, nervous regulation at whole, as one. And usually, as I said, pathology studying compartments of the pathology, but normal physiology studying totality. So, and that's why I think that basically why I have that enormous affinity to knowledge of homeopathic concept, because it basically does the same with the totality, including this quantum totality of human. So normal physiology did everything for me, but when I figured out that it's quantum as well, like that completed the understanding at this point, understanding of human design.
Okay. Yes.
And regarding disease and the healing and how to bring it back, so we used to think, and if you look at the dictionary, the meaning of disease will be, I mean, meaning of health will be the lack of lack of symptoms. If you don't have any symptoms, you're healthy. But how many people are exhausted and don't consider it as a symptom and feel exhausted, and they think that they're still healthy, but it's not at all. If you have bad thoughts in your mind, you're not healthy. If you're not happy, you're not healthy. So,
Yes.
um, and we used to consider only something which is tangible and we can already kind of put our finger on it and say, oh, that is a disease. But it's already disease because totality is off, harmony is off with all of these things, what I mentioned before. You don't need to wait when something grow in your body and say, oh, that is a disease. Disease formed long before. And healing process is not um, annihilation of this symptom or this sensation people have, like sensation of being not well. It's you work through that and you harmonizing it, and the process of harmonization is quite loud. It's not silent. Only disease is forming in silence. But healing, you feel it because you have skin rash or you have other symptoms. We will talk about it on a separate occasion about how healing is. So that probably in a nutshell what I can say about all of your questions. They are wonderful, but they're very low that I can tell you. It's like I I can talk hours about each question, and we did in our school, as you remember. And
Yes, very much.
and I hope that for our listeners, it will be not something completely alien, a concept. And it's all supported by wonderful researchers, as I mentioned, Leonard Susskind, Samuel Hahnemann, who developed the knowledge of homeopathy, and Carl Jung, who developed the understanding of essence, uh, the collective consciousness and essence. So we all bringing things together, and it's not. We don't guess. It's a very precise method. It's like mathematically precise method because it's highly individual, and we will talk about it in another occasion. How is that? How is that work? Okay.
Thank you very much. That's very informative, and I look forward um, to taking part in more of these lectures and to watching them. It'll be very, very helpful.
Thank you very, very much, Janet. And I hope these videos will help your clients to understand what are you practicing, and you can introduce it better. We're doing it for people to spread the word. And thank you
Yeah,
very much for participating in it. As I always say, people who are interested in such method, already extraordinary people. They have the thinking, out of the box thinking, and I think it's super important. So thank you,
absolutely.
and be well,
Thank you.
and we will meet again.
Yes, thank you very much.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Okay.